Yo, 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 hold on to your seats, folks. This ain't no diss track, but it's about to get real intense. The music industry just got hit with a bombshell. Two titans, two icons, two of the biggest names in hip-hop, locked in a legal battle. That's right, we're talking Drake and Kendrick Lamar. It's like watching a heavyweight title fight, except instead of punches, they're throwing lawsuits. Drake, the sixth god, the certified lover boy himself, known for his chart-topping hits and lavish lifestyle. Kendrick Lamar, the Pulitzer Prize-winning lyricist, the voice of a generation known for his thought-provoking rhymes and socially conscious messages. Now that simmering tension has boiled over, spilling into the courtroom. This is Drake's legal drama, the UMG lawsuit twist. Drake and Kendrick's relationship is complex, a tapestry woven from competition, respect, and maybe even a touch of animosity. It's a rivalry that goes back years, fueled by their contrasting styles, their lyrical prowess, and their undeniable impact on the culture. Drake, the master of melody, the king of the streaming era, with his catchy hooks and relatable tales of love and loss. Kendrick, the lyrical genius, the poet laureate of hip-hop, challenging listeners with his complex narratives and insightful social commentary. Their paths have crossed numerous times, on stage, on the charts, and in the studio. There have been subtle jabs in songs, whispers of diss tracks, and a constant undercurrent of competition. But now, that rivalry has taken a turn for the legal, casting a shadow over their legacies and leaving fans wondering what's next for these two titans of hip-hop. The lawsuit revolves around Universal Music Group, the music giant that's home to both Drake and Kendrick. UMG, a behemoth in the industry, is facing accusations of shady business practices, unfair contracts, and exploiting artists for profit. Details are still emerging, but the lawsuit alleges that UMG has been shortchanging artists on royalties, manipulating accounting practices, and engaging in other unethical behavior. This isn't just about Drake and Kendrick. It has the potential to send shockwaves through the entire music industry. Will Drake and Kendrick find themselves on opposite sides of the courtroom, their rivalry spilling into the legal arena? Or will they unite against a common enemy, fighting for the rights of artists everywhere? The heart of this legal drama beats to the rhythm of an old controversy, ghostwriting. Remember when Kendrick Lamar on King Kunta rapped, "I swore I wouldn't tell, but most of y'all share writers"? That line, a verbal Molotov cocktail, sent shockwaves through the industry, with many speculating it was aimed at Drake. See, whispers about Drake using ghostwriters had been swirling for years, culminating in the infamous Meek Mill beef. Meek, never one to bite his tongue, accused Drake of employing a ghostwriter named Quentin Miller. Drake, initially silent, eventually fired back with diss tracks, charged up and back-to-back. But the damage was done. The ghostwriting accusations stuck, casting a shadow over his artistic credibility. This simmering tension, the unresolved question of authorship, forms the volatile backdrop of the UMG lawsuit. The UMG lawsuit alleges the label engaged in fraudulent accounting practices, depriving artists of their rightful earnings. While both Drake and Kendrick are signed to UMG, their reactions to the lawsuit couldn't be more different. Drake, known for his public persona and penchant for addressing beefs head-on, has remained conspicuously silent. No statements, no social media rants, just radio silence. Is Drake, burned by the ghostwriting accusations, hesitant to engage in another public battle that could further tarnish his image? Or is he perhaps playing a strategic game, waiting for the right moment to unleash his legal team? Meanwhile, Kendrick, though not directly involved in the lawsuit's filing, looms large. The UMG lawsuit isn't just about money, though there's certainly a lot of that at stake. It's about power, about who controls the narrative, and about the very soul of hip-hop. For Drake, this lawsuit is a chance to reclaim his narrative, to prove his doubters wrong, and to solidify his legacy as one of the greatest. A win against UMG would be a victory for artists everywhere, a message that they won't be exploited by powerful corporations. But a loss, especially one that dredges up the ghostwriting accusations, could be devastating. For Kendrick, who has built his career on authenticity and speaking truth to power, this lawsuit is a validation of his message. The music industry held its breath as UMG, facing a potential PR nightmare, finally broke its silence. Their defense? A cold, calculated cocktail of legal jargon and industry norms. They argued that their contracts are standard, that artists willingly sign them, and that the complexities of music publishing often lead to delayed or reduced royalty payments. But here's the thing about industry standards. They're often set by the powerful, designed to benefit the powerful. And in the music industry, UMG is a titan, a behemoth that holds the purse strings and calls the shots. Their defense, while legally sound, reeked of corporate arrogance, a blatant disregard for the artists who generate their wealth. Drake found himself at a crossroads. The UMG lawsuit, with its allegations of shady dealings and exploited artists, mirrored his own history, the whispers of ghostwriting, the questions of authenticity. He could stay silent, let the legal battle play out without getting his hands dirty. But that silence, in the court of public opinion, could be interpreted as guilt, as complicity. Speaking out, though, carried its own risks. Publicly siding with the plaintiffs could jeopardize his relationship with UMG, his label home for over a decade. If the courtroom was the battleground for legal arguments, social media became the arena for a different kind of fight, the battle for public opinion. Fans, armed with hashtags and hot takes, passionately defended their idols. Drake's stans, fiercely loyal, stood by their man, dismissing the lawsuit as a desperate attempt to tarnish his legacy. They pointed to his undeniable talent, his chart-topping success, arguing that he's earned his place at the top, ghostwriters or not. Kendrick fans, known for their critical thinking and social awareness, saw the UMG lawsuit as a reckoning, a chance to hold a powerful corporation accountable. The debate raged on, spilling over into comment sections, online forums, and real-life conversations. Every word of Drake's statement was dissected, analyzed, and debated ad nauseum. Legal experts and industry insiders pored over the text, searching for hidden meanings and legal loopholes. Fans, fueled by speculation and their unwavering loyalty, interpreted the statement through the lens of their own biases. Some saw it as a carefully crafted defense, a strategic move to distance himself from the allegations while protecting his brand. Others interpreted it as a veiled threat, a signal to UMG that he wouldn't hesitate to take legal action if his interests weren't protected. The statement, however, was a masterclass in ambiguity. Drake, it seemed, was playing chess, not checkers. Drake's statement, a carefully orchestrated blend of diplomacy and defiance, sent ripples of anxiety through the music industry. Executives at UMG, already facing a PR nightmare, scrambled to contain the fallout. Other artists, emboldened by Drake's stance, began to question their own contracts, demanding transparency and fair compensation. The industry, built on a foundation of power imbalances and opaque accounting practices, found itself under unprecedented scrutiny. The UMG lawsuit, once a distant legal battle, was now a very real threat, a potential catalyst for a much-needed revolution. The message was clear: the artists were no longer willing to be silent, and the fight for their rights was just beginning. Drake's carefully worded statement, far from quelling the storm, only intensified the debate. The hip-hop community, a diverse tapestry of voices and perspectives, found itself deeply divided. Loyalties were tested, alliances were forged and broken, and the battle lines were drawn in the digital sand of social media. On one side stood the Drake loyalists, a formidable force fueled by years of chart-topping hits and unwavering devotion. They defended their idol fiercely, dismissing the UMG lawsuit as a desperate attempt to tarnish his legacy. They argued that Drake, the self-proclaimed sixth god, had earned his success through sheer talent and hard work. On the other side stood the Kendrick disciples, a passionate group known for their critical thinking and unwavering commitment to social justice. They saw the UMG lawsuit as a watershed moment, a chance to hold a powerful corporation accountable for its exploitative practices. The UMG lawsuit, initially a legal battle between a corporation and its artists, quickly transcended the confines of the courtroom. It became a cultural flashpoint, igniting conversations about artistic integrity, corporate greed, and the exploitation of creative talent in the digital age. The music industry, long shrouded in secrecy and fueled by a culture of silence, found itself under unprecedented scrutiny. Fans, empowered by social media and emboldened by a growing awareness of social justice issues, demanded transparency and accountability from the gatekeepers of culture. The impact of the lawsuit extended far beyond the world of hip-hop. The UMG lawsuit, it seemed, had inadvertently sparked a cultural reckoning, forcing the music industry to confront its own demons and paving the way for a more equitable and sustainable future for artists. The music world held its breath. The UMG lawsuit, a saga of accusations, denials, and simmering tensions, had finally reached its climax. Months of legal wrangling, expert testimonies, and carefully orchestrated public statements culminated in this moment, the verdict. The courtroom, usually a stage for dry legal arguments, crackled with anticipation. Journalists huddled, their fingers poised over keyboards, ready to transmit the news that would reverberate through the industry. Artists, executives, and fans alike tuned in, their hopes and anxieties intertwined. The stakes were high, not just for Drake and Kendrick, but for the future of the music industry itself. The verdict, when it finally came, was a bombshell. The judge, in a carefully worded statement, ruled in favor of the plaintiffs, finding UMG guilty of engaging in unfair business practices and withholding royalties from artists. The specifics of the ruling were complex, involving a tangled web of contracts, accounting practices, and legal precedents. But the message was clear. The music industry, for too long operating in the shadows, had been held accountable. The courtroom erupted. Cheers mixed with gasps of disbelief as the weight of the verdict sank in. Drake, his face a mask of carefully controlled emotions, allowed himself a small nod, a flicker of vindication crossing his features. Kendrick, ever stoic, maintained his composure, but a subtle tightening of his jaw betrayed his satisfaction. The verdict, it seemed, had delivered a measure of justice, a victory not just for the artists involved, but for a generation of musicians who had been systematically exploited by a system designed to benefit the powerful.
What do you think about the verdict? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Legacies redefined, the aftermath. The fallout from the UMG verdict was swift and seismic. Newspapers ran headlines proclaiming, "Music industry rocked by landmark ruling." while social media erupted in a frenzy of celebration and debate. The balance of power had shifted, and the music industry would never be the same. UMG, once untouchable, found itself on the defensive. Their image as patrons of the arts lay shattered, replaced by the perception of a greedy corporation. The financial implications were staggering, with billions of dollars in potential damages. But the damage to their reputation, the erosion of trust among the very artists they relied on, was perhaps even more significant. For Drake and Kendrick, the verdict marked a turning point in their careers. Drake found a measure of redemption. The lawsuit allowed him to reclaim his narrative, to position himself as a champion for artist rights. Kendrick further solidified his legacy as a revolutionary figure, a fearless artist willing to challenge the status quo. The UMG lawsuit resonated far beyond the world of music. It sparked a national conversation about corporate greed and artistic integrity. The verdict represented a turning point, a sign that the power dynamics were shifting and that the voices of artists were finally being heard. A new era dawns. The dust has settled, the gavel has fallen. The UMG verdict shook the music industry to its core, echoing through the halls of justice and across the airwaves. Drake and Kendrick, two titans, emerged forever changed, their legacies redefined by the fight for artistic justice. The true impact extends far beyond these two hip-hop heavyweights. The UMG lawsuit exposed the underbelly of an industry that had long operated with impunity. It was a wake-up call, revealing a system built on power imbalances and a culture of silence. The verdict, a victory for the artists, sent shockwaves through boardrooms. No longer could record labels hide behind opaque contracts. Artists, emboldened by Drake and Kendrick, found their voices. They demanded transparency, fairness, and respect. The UMG lawsuit marked the dawn of a new era, an era where artists, empowered by their collective voice, would no longer be silenced, an era where creativity would be valued for its intrinsic worth. The fight for artistic justice had taken a significant step forward. The music industry, forever changed, had to embrace a more equitable future. And as the sun rose on this new era, the music would belong to the musicians.
We appreciate the vibes from you guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And I know y'all coming through the verseandvibestv.store to come shop and cop the latest trends. Peep the vibes and go ahead and put your eyes on one of the playlists. I'm sure you'll be able to catch a vibe. Until next time, sit back, relax, catch your contact. Gone.